Alright, guys. So, for those who aren't caught up with this, we're gonna watch this with the David stuff. Holy shit. All my fucking things here. Anyways, but we're just gonna be watching this, reacting to it from Rapaholics. It's about the David case. A lot of shit just came out. He's actually, like, I think they're having his trial. I don't know if they have convicted him, but TLDR, homie was dating a 13-year-old girl, and she's been like a missing person for a while. And yeah, it's really sad. From what I've heard, he like mutilated her body and shit. It's very sad. I don't know. I haven't really watched a whole lot of it, but because I did want to like watch this on stream at some point. Teehee. So here we are. We're watching it on stream. I will. Teehee.
It was an evil version of myself that would kind of come out at random moments. He would commit the crimes that I would have to solve as the detective. I'd be like solving murders that I'm
really
committing myself.
That I'm committing myself.
It's crazy. Also, guys,
Celeste,
big shout out to Rapaholics. I actually very much enjoy his content. His videos are really, really good. So if you guys haven't followed them, definitely check their stuff out. I enjoy watching them at work and everything. So yeah.
Rivas Hernandez's body was found dismembered in 2 separate plastic bags in the front trunk of a Tesla that belonged to David
good, by the
in
way?
September of 2025. Authorities now believe her life may have been taken 5 months before her body was ever even found in April of 2025.
Wait.
There was a missing persons poster published with her family looking for her a year prior to that in April of 2024. Celeste would have just turned 14 years old on the day that authorities found her. David just turned 21 years old this March, and the death penalty, which is extremely rare in California where he'll be facing trial, is not off the table, as the district attorney said that the charges against David are the most serious charges that a DA's office can bring. That is first-degree murder with special circumstances. Let's break down everything we know about this deeply disturbing case. Every day that passes, the details of this case and the consequences that David may face keep getting darker. But we gotta take it back to November of 2025 for a second, because that's when police and prosecutors brought in a grand jury, which is just a group of regular people, and they were brought in to secretly review all the evidence that authorities had in relation to Celeste's passing. The jury wasn't called in to necessarily charge someone with a crime right away, and that's why it took many months before we even saw David behind bars. Instead, this jury was being used to help investigate the case and collect more information. They listened to evidence for several days back in November, and the jury was also able to force people to testify. And after hearing all the evidence, they can then recommend criminal charges. 2 months after that jury was brought in, we get this. This is a mugshot of David's friend, Neo. Neo was booked into a Montana jail on a warrant related to the Celeste case. But he wasn't a suspect in her passing. Instead, there was an out-of-jurisdiction warrant from Los Angeles for failure to appear as a witness. He was held in jail for almost 2 months without bond, and it's very possible that the grand jury from back in November had called him to be a witness to hear his testimony and make their decision on who really took Celeste's life. We also know that in December of 2025, a month after this grand jury was convened, David's day-to-day manager, Robert Morgenroth, testified for multiple days. A TMZ reporter had actually heard the manager tell his lawyer in the courtroom hallway that the prosecutor was very pushy as to why he didn't call the police when he found out about Celeste's passing. And the manager allegedly responded by saying that it wasn't his responsibility and his job was to make sure David's tour kept on going. Because if you guys didn't know, like I previously mentioned, authorities believe Celeste's life was took in April of 2025 and that is the very same month that David embarked on his first solo world tour. Why I bring all this backstory up is because I want to focus on David's friend Neo for a second. Remember, he was arrested for failing to appear as a witness. Well, he ended up flying to Los Angeles and testified in front of that grand jury.
Hey Neo, why are you being called to testify today? How did everything go in there? Why were you avoiding testifying? Do you think David is innocent? Is there anything you want to tell the public about the David case? Anything?
Well, there would be something that Neo wanted to say about the David case, and he would most definitely let that be known. Before that happened, David's parents got called to testify as well, and they were trying to fight it. I covered front to back everything we knew about David's connection to Celeste and his parents' involvement in this trial in a separate breakdown. I'll leave a link to that in the description of this video. But there's a ton of new disturbing evidence that we gotta get to in this one. Starting off with what David's friend Neo posted onto Instagram, his close friend's story, about a month after he testified. On March 13th, 2025, almost a month before David had been arrested, Neo posted on his Instagram, "Thankfully, I'm legally fine in every way, and boy, do I got all my receipts for things." I think the worst part is that I've told so many people that I trust and I thought knew me as a person, my side of things, all for that to be thrown out the effing window as soon as I get arrested and they slap that D-head's name next to mine. And for the record, the thing I was arrested for, I wasn't even charged. They never filed it, and my warrant was retracted because there is more to the story than what's on the news.
What the fuck is going on?
I understand that due to my silence and the silence in general, it leaves a void of information that everyone wants to fill. But at the end of the day, this case isn't about me. It isn't about you. It's about getting justice for the victim and her family, and I care a lot more about that. Now, it was interesting that after hearing the line of questioning from the grand jury, Neo goes on to block David off Instagram and call him a D-head publicly. What could they have asked him? What evidence could they have shown him? Or even worse, what charges could they have threatened Neo himself with to make him change his tune so drastically? Well, famous attorney Mark Gregaros told TMZ that Neo is likely considered a very important witness tied to Celeste's disappearance, how she ended up in David's car, and the timeline of events that ended up in her passing. With Neo giving prosecutors the first-hand story, being right there next to David, this may have been enough to help them connect most of the dots of this case.
When Neo refers to, he's been telling everybody what was happening, that is true. He told third parties who then got to Beth Silverman, who is the DA in this case. Beth is in major crimes. Beth is not, contrary to all the people who were saying this was an investigative grand jury. I call BS on that. This was a criminal grand jury from the get-go. It's unprecedented, but they went not once, not twice, but 3 times to a judge to get an order to basically shut down the medical examiner because the medical examiner was not on board with where they were headed. When Neo started talking to a third party, that third party got to Beth. That is when Beth turned up the heat. That is when Lauren Conlon, frankly, discovered, or at least showed me, the filings that had been done in Texas, where they did not seal some of that. And that's where it was revealed that David was a target, where it was revealed that they were looking for people to roll on him. And when I say roll on him, that's exactly what Neo has done. Neo is now focused on David, and he's telling the story as he knows it, and this is David's worst nightmare. I think what's happened, frankly, is once again, connecting the dots. I think there has been a request for immunity. I think he is invoked. I think he is worried, and his lawyer is worried about any kind of obstruction or any kind of accessory after the fact. The trips that were taken out of LA County are, if you were to design the factual scenario for an accessory after the fact, those would fit the legal definition of somebody who is an accessory after the fact. I think the reason he was in there was to assert his Fifth Amendment rights. They probably went through that, and he said, no, I'm invoking the Fifth. They're now negotiating, and my guess is that either he or his attorney are now doing to Beth a proffer of some kind, saying, you give me immunity, this is what I'm going to say, this is what I'm going to tell you, and they're jumping through the hoops.
It was later revealed that Neo did not plead the fifth. He likely told prosecutors everything he knew about his former friend. And a month later, in April 2025, David is arrested.
It's gonna obscure my view from the gate. It's good.
If you try to run or if you try to resist, you will get hit with nothing, so it's gonna hurt.
I got you.
If you try to run, we have canine on premises and you will get bit.
I got you. All right, so the gate is locked. Do I open the gate? Sir? Open the gate.
Damn. What the fuck? Get his ass out of there. Bitch ass. They really fucking recorded all this shit. Like, what? I did not think we'd get shit like this, but okay.
Now, the key problem in this case is the condition
Like-
that authorities found Celeste's body in. It was
Dude, she's
completely
literally a
dismembered
baby.
in 2 separate plastic bags
Disgusting.
in that front trunk. Because of that, Celeste's cause of death may end up being the centerpiece of the trial. Without a clear cause of death, without knowing if it was a homicide, an accidental overdose, it becomes a weapon that David's defense can use against prosecutors. How can they prove he was the one behind this if they don't even know how she died to begin with? Well, we would quickly start getting some answers. Prosecutors say that David actually murdered Celeste on April 23rd, 2025, but had ended up mutilating her body on May 5th. She was then left in that Tesla under his name for 4 more months until September.
What the
LAPD would do a
fuck?
conference where they said that David is not just charged with first-degree murder, but also with mutilating a body and lewd and lascivious acts with a child under the age of 14. He's also charged with interfering
That's
with
so
an
fucking
active
disgusting.
investigation, trying to protect his career and hide from the charges he would have initially been faced with, which was that he was having S relations with a minor under the age of 14.
Today, I am announcing the charges against David Anthony Burke in connection with the brutal and horrific murder of Celeste, a 14-year-old at that time. And there are
Dude,
3
that
sets
shit's-
of charges that have been brought. The first-degree murder with special circumstances, and again, those special
literally a
circumstances are
baby,
lying
dude.
in wait. That Celeste went to Mr. Burke's home on the night of April 23rd, 2025, as alleged in the complaint, at his invitation, and again, was not heard from again.
That's the one. So if you're new to co-producer, you could really type in any.
The second is a special circumstance being that this murder was committed for financial gain. As the evidence will show in court, the financial gain was for Mr. Burke to maintain his very lucrative musical career that Celeste was threatening on that particular night. The third charge, in addition to lying in wait and for financial gain, is murdering a witness to an investigation. In this particular case, as the evidence will come out in court, the witness to the investigation was Celeste. And the investigation was into the lewd and lascivious sexual acts committed by Mr. Burke that is the subject of count 2 of this complaint with Celeste while she was under 14 years.
Now, David would show up to court on Monday, April 20th, and maintain his innocence, pleading not guilty to the charges against him. His legal team would also claim that they received no evidence, no discovery that prosecutors have thus far collected, no autopsy reports, no information that David could use to defend himself in court.
It's crazy
people versus
how I did not know he was like super like in the streamer sphere as well. Like I did not know that. When I seen him with like Pokey and like fucking Jason, I was like, oh, that's Jason, right? I don't know his name.
David Anthony Burke. Good afternoon, Mr. Burke. For the people.
Deputy District Attorney Beth Silverman for the people, Your Honor.
Thank you. I request you're requesting a preliminary hearing within the period.
Yes, Your Honor. From the media reports, apparently there have been 4 months of
secret grand jury proceedings. We believe that Mr. Burke is entitled at the earliest opportunity to an open preliminary hearing and the proceedings not be done in secret. So we are asking for a preliminary hearing to be set at the earliest possible date on the 10th day. We believe the actual evidence will show David Burke did not murder Celeste Rivas Hernandez, nor was he the cause of her death. And we would like to be able to have the evidence come into the light of day at the earliest opportunity in order to establish that. We're asking for April 23rd as a 3 of 10, Your Honor.
They're probably gonna say it, but I think they had like, was it 40 terabytes of evidence? 40? I don't know.
We'll be very happy.
It's crazy. They have a shit ton of evidence.
Collected in this case in the last several months.
Plea of not guilty has been entered on behalf of Mr. Burke. The matter is ordered assigned to Judge Charlene Almeida. Yes, Your Honor. If I may just put on the record, we have, as soon as the people arrived, delivered a informal discovery request consistent with Penal Code Section 1054. We have been given almost no discovery thus far. We've received a 3-page follow-up report, no autopsy report, and a copy of the complaint. And we would ask the people respectfully to produce discovery at the earliest opportunity.
Now, the prosecutor would claim that there were over 40 terabytes of evidence in this case, and some of it has already been released, which we'll break down shortly in this video.
I know when the lady said we got 40 terabytes of evidence, his lawyer had to be sweating and panicking right there. She had to.
There's approximately 40 terabytes of discovery in this case. Moreover, in order to obtain the transcripts from a grand jury investigation, counsel has to file a motion. She knows the way the system works. I'm not able to gather those. They have to be provided after the court orders them released because it was an investigation. Second of all, if counsel plans on going to a preliminary hearing within the 10 days, it is unlikely that there will be very much discovery provided within that period, given the voluminous nature and how long it's going to take to copy onto drives. In addition to that, the coroner's report was sealed in this case in order to prevent it from hampering truthful testimony from witnesses that testified at the grand jury. So an order will also have to be obtained in order to get the coroner's department, which is now the medical examiner's department, to release those materials.
It's surprising news given the district attorney's office held a press conference this morning where they discussed the cause of death, apparently under seal and not released by the coroner's office, as did the robbery homicide unit to the press. So we would again reiterate, we believe that Mr. Burke is entitled to discovery. We have served the people with notice. They have 15 days to produce discovery in this case. We would ask that they do that in conscientious earnestness and as quickly as possible. Bail to stand at no bail. Thank you.
Now here's where things get tricky. David's lawyers have asked the judge for a preliminary hearing within 10 days. That's something he's entitled to as a defendant, and there's a clear strategy for that move. David's lawyers are banking on this case still being a work in progress. They're hoping that prosecutors don't have their witnesses and all their evidence fully ready. And if that is the case, then the judge could dismiss this case completely. The district attorney also claims that
I swear to God, some of this shit is so stupid. Like, what do you mean the judge could fucking dismiss it? There's a literal 14-year-old who died, who was murdered, brutally murdered, and the system lets that happen? Nah, dude.
David had repeated relations with her when she was under the age of 14, and she threatened to expose their relationship.
I will always say this, and I will always reiterate it. I don't think we protect children enough.
Which would in turn, of course, destroy his musical career. As a result, they say this led him to murdering her with a sharp object, cutting up her body, stuffing the remains in 2 bags, and placing them, of course, in the front trunk of his car. David was transferred to the LA County Men's Central Jail the night that he appeared in court. He was placed in segregation because he's a noteworthy inmate, meaning that he won't be able to interact with the 5,000 plus other inmates in this prison due to his status and the publicity of this case. He'll be alone for most of the day. Now, as for where David was living before being incarcerated,
I say
he
throw
was
him in
actually
there.
renting a home in Los Angeles,
actually, no.
the very same
I
area
wanna hear
that Celeste's body was found.
all of his shit, but
NBCLA
he's
had
gonna be
actually
locked up. I don't
interviewed
care.
several of David's neighbors, who had said that throughout the 7 months between Celeste's body being found and David actually being arrested, some of them had no idea that anyone was even living in the house. It was so quiet, while others complained that there were many parties going on throughout this time period, meaning that David was likely throwing
Sorry,
parties in this house that was miles away from where Celeste had lost her life.
It felt
That's
like
so fucking
100
sad.
police officers, a canine unit. I heard someone on the megaphone saying, "Surrender, surrender, come out."
I spoke about the arrest with legal analyst Royal Oakes.
What's your reaction? It's a huge question about why it took authorities 7 months to arrest this man. The DNA evidence probably was gone because there was so
I
much
agree.
deterioration of the body. Plus, the authorities.
Honestly, government never cared about children, only ways to use them as excuses. Exactly. Like, look at all the school shootings we're having right now. Look at all the fucking childhood, like, all the child stars who were traumatized, like, in like, my generation. Like, Miley Cyrus, fucking, who was it? Demi Lovato, fucking, what's her name? Jeanette McCurdy. Like, all of them are kids.
Authorities wanted to talk to lots of witnesses. That probably explains the gap. The fact that they have made the arrest.
Well, I don't know about Miley Cyrus so much. Her dad was on stage or on that show with her. So, Justin Bieber, yes. My heart hurts for that man. My heart hurts for that man. He deserved the world, and yet we had grown-ass fucking men, grown-ass adults in general, hating on a literal kid. And just, you know, it's sad. It's very sad.
Now suggests to the
Nobody
authorities think
protected
they have a
them.
very strong case.
This afternoon, Blair Burke returned to the home where police arrested the singer and made no comments as she left.
For the DA?
But Blair and the rest of David's legal team released a statement saying, quote, "Let us be clear. The actual evidence in this case will show that David Burke did not murder Celeste Rivas Hernandez, and he was not the cause of her death. There has been no indictment returned by any grand jury in this case and no criminal complaint filed.
Whatever.
David has only been detained under suspicion. We will vigorously defend David's innocence."
We assumed
Whatever.
he'd fled far away.
After the singer's arrest, neighbors in the Hollywood Hills were surprised to learn David was living nearby.
We never saw anyone like him. We never saw anyone going in or out of his house. We actually assumed no one was living there.
All of our neighbors were kind of on a group chat, and we were like, this was kind of scary that we've been living around the corner from
Neighbors having a
an
group
accused
chat?
murderer.
I
One
could
neighbor
never.
actually told me that he's relieved that there was an arrest because he said that there have often been parties at this home. I asked if he's heard parties here recently. He said it's an ongoing problem.
Now, when the LA police chief was asked why it actually took so long to make an arrest in this case, 7 months to be exact, his answer is interesting. Like we said before, with Celeste's body being dismembered when it was found, it's extremely hard to point to an exact cause of death. But
yeah,
aside from
and
that,
decomposing as well could play a factor into that. I know a few like little details of this, like how they found her body and like the state of her body, and it's very, 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 very sad. Like, she was very decomposed. Like, her, like, I think they were saying, like, half of her skeleton, like, her skull was showing. It was very sad. I always thought it was weird how there are people who make a living defending these people. Yeah. My neighbor would be mad about me stealing his internet last time.
they had no concrete physical evidence showing someone actually committing the act of murder. They needed to get forensic and digital evidence to prove this case beyond a reasonable doubt. They needed witnesses, they needed the coroner's report, they needed to understand what was the actual cause of death. And it looks like now they're more confident than ever that they have that.
This department has faced criticism for
also considering like his status as a person, like him being a celebrity. I feel like it's a bit it shouldn't be, but the way like I know like the frustration for people like saying like, oh, like you have like we all knew, yeah, that's the case, but like you have to build a solid case in court. And like, because if you don't, especially like, dude, you'd be surprised at how much like celebrities or people with money just get away with things. Like, look at fucking P. Diddy. Like, look at how like how long he's been doing all that fucking shit for, how long he was abusing Cassie for, and how many years did he get? 4? Fucking bullshit, dude.
How we handle the case and for our decision not to provide details. I want to be clear about something. My duty is not to fuel speculation, it's to deliver justice, and that requires patience and discipline on everybody's part. This investigation was driven by a single purpose: to secure justice for Celeste Rivas and for those who loved her. We had to be certain.
I would agree with that, but unfortunately, like the way the US, well, I don't know about any other country, but yeah, like they have a right to an attorney regardless. And it makes me question people who have been able to get their clients out of jail even though they're guilty. It really makes me question them because me, like morally, if I was a lawyer, I don't think I would be able to serve people like that. And I don't know, just I think my morals would get in the way of defending a criminal, in my opinion.
That nothing we did or said would ever jeopardize this case. Ms. Rivas,
I'd be like, Your Honor, he did it. Lock his ass up. Throw his ass in jail. Get his ass out of here. I would literally just fucking throw his ass under the bus. Like, dude, he did it. Your Honor, he did it. Throw his ass in jail. I don't know how to defend him. Bye. This motherfucker had a dead body in his car. His DNA there. He wrote a song about the murder. What else do they need? It's just, it's hard. Okay, so it's like that one case. Who was it? That guy who they were like trying to pin him down on some songs. Like not Afro Man, but there's another person, another like artist who like was talking about like violence and shit in his songs, and they try to get him for that. And it's just like art as a whole, songs, portraits, art, like actual art, any kind of art. And yeah. So it's just they try not to use those in like a case because it's not viable. It's just, yeah, it's stupid. But yeah, it's insane. This whole case
was a
is
reported
insane.
runaway from Riverside County. During the course of our investigation, detectives learned that she had been involved in a sexual relationship with Mr. Burke when she was a minor and he was an adult. On April 23rd, 2025, Ms. Rivas arrived at Mr. Burke's home in the Hollywood Hills. That's the last time she was known to be alive. On September 8th, 2025, Ms. Rivas's dismembered and badly decomposed body was discovered in Mr. Burke's Tesla. From that moment forward, our investigators faced an extraordinary, difficult, and complex case. The condition of her remains delayed the medical examiner's ability to be able to determine cause of death. The substantial amount of time that passed between her death and the discovery meant that crucial evidence had degraded or disappeared.
I think the police chief got it right. In a situation where you don't have an
Well, yeah. Like, yeah, obviously you should still like consider it, but like it's still protected if that makes sense. Like you cannot incriminate someone on a song fully alone. Like if you were to go in like, so say he didn't do it. Say David didn't do this, but they're like, "Oh, but like look at the song." You know, you can't just be like, "Oh yeah, dude, in that music video, he killed the girl. But it's you can't incriminate someone on a song or a music video, unfortunately. Like you need hard facts, hard evidence. We can't just be like, "Oh yeah, like he definitely did it because he had the music video of him killing his girlfriend."
eyewitness account.
So you can't do that.
We can't point to a video that shows.
I think it would have went a lot faster, but it would also be very stupid because think of like all the people who've talked shit in their songs. That would cause a lot of like defamation lawsuits as well. Like so much shit would be happening if like that was the case. Yes, it is freedom of speech. It is very protected. Like there's only certain things that are not protected behind freedom of speech, and there was a video that I seen on TikTok where this guy was like, I guess he was posting some crazy ass shit online, and people reported him to the FBI, and the FBI showed up at their house. It was insane.
The killer killing someone. You have to go.
But if he's rapping about killing a person, that the girl's dead body is found in his car, like, come on now. Well, yeah, but still, like, think about how many people like say, "Oh, I'm a gangster," blah blah blah, this and that, and then like half the time they're not. They're not. A lot of the times it's just, I don't know. Like, I understand what you mean, but in the court of law, it doesn't go like that, unfortunately.
Go through the very rigorous and thorough investigation to look at all the digital and forensic evidence. You have to speak with witnesses, often who are cooperative and some who are not cooperative, in order to obtain all the information necessary to decide who did what, when, how, and what their mental state was at the time. That is what we've been doing over the last, between September 8th, roughly, and today when we bring these charges on April 20th. So again, it's the type of case that you want to make sure you get maximum information.
Now, what's extremely disturbing is, remember, the district attorney believes that David had murdered Celeste on April 23rd, 2025. They believe the murder was a result of Celeste threatening to go to authorities to reveal the relationship she had been having with David, and in an attempt to save his career and not get charged with having S relations with a minor under 14, he decided to take her life. They claim that was on April 23rd. If you look at David's old TikToks from that time period, on April 23rd, he's posting videos where he's promoting his brand new album.
Wasn't he a streamer also? Am I tripping, or was that someone else?
The reality for David currently is bleak, to say the least. Of course, again, he's being held in jail without bail, basically in solitary confinement, and the conditions get worse. According to TMZ, David is allowed to take one shower every other day. He's escorted from his cell to the shower. He's also allowed to make phone calls on the days that he's allowed to take a shower. He has no access to a television. He currently can't have any visitors. He has no contact with other inmates, and he can only spend 3 hours a week outside. He also currently has no money on his books. As far as the victim's family, Celeste's family, they were seen leaving the courtroom absolutely distraught and would not take the time to answer any questions.
Oh, I feel for the family.
Trust me, you are a lawyer. You know you're not supposed to push anyone.
How are you feeling about possibly seeing David in court? Any message to David?
This shit's so sad.
Now, like I said, I did a full video breaking down every piece of evidence that we have.
I'm sorry. I absolutely hate, like, I have a bad, like, okay, one thing I will say, guys, is regardless of whatever, like, okay, so I have such ill feeling towards people who are like not even considerate of this family's privacy. I absolutely hate it. I have anybody who has any say on anybody's death, unless that person absolutely is the shittiest person ever. Like, I remember, like, I had a family passing, and I shouldn't have seen it. I shouldn't have read it, but it fucking made my blood boil. And like, I've seen very awful comments about said person, and I, like, they were a part of my family, so seeing people say shit like that over someone they don't know, or even like bugging people about a family death or whatever it may be, like I have such ill feeling towards those people. Like I cannot stand people like that.
Celeste to David.
Like leave them the
Celeste's
fuck
brother
alone.
had done an interview with the
Like
press.
I get it.
saying-
It's press, whatever. But like fucking let these people like grieve in silence. Let them grieve in silence. Let them like leave them the fuck alone, dude. Sorry guys. I ranted a little. I went off on a tangent because I've seen some shitty shit said about a family member who passed away.
That in April of 2024, she had left her family's home to go be with David, and this is when missing persons signs started going up.
Oh, he also was, yeah, well,
Celeste's
obviously
face
he's a
on them.
fucking
Another
celebrity.
alleged witness has come forth and said that he was working at a jewelry shop, and he instantly recognized Celeste from these photos, and that she and David were in his jewelry store in April of 2024, the same month that she went missing, and he claims that she looked extremely intoxicated.
Right when the picture went public of
You did not, you pussy!
Celeste,
Okay.
I instantly recognized her from 2024 in April when her and David came together to a jewelry shop I used to work at. I remember this moment so vividly because when they came in, there was something off about Celeste. She was very high, and she was with David, who I recognized because he's a popular
poor baby,
singer,
dude.
but she was very obviously younger than him, and she was very out of it. I was helping her out with jewelry, and she was all over the place. So that situation really stuck in my brain, and I really remembered her face. So when her picture was released to the public, I instantly recognized her as the girl that was with David. And the fact that she was found in his trunk is just unbelievably sad and horrific.
Now, we would end up getting the official complaint with all the charges that David is faced with prosecutors detailing the sequence of events and what we know, and some new information was revealed that's deeply disturbing. Basically here, prosecutors are accusing David of repeatedly abusing Celeste over a 1-year period when she was under 14, and saying that he lived with her or had regular access to her. It was between the dates of September 7th, 2023 and September 7th, 2024, which is actually the date of Celeste's birthday. And if David is convicted, he would have to register as an S offender. Of course, beyond just the murder charge, this is a serious and violent felony in and of itself.
Dude.
He'd be ordered to also take blood/HIV related testing and serve time in state prison. Now remember that they believe she had been murdered on April 23rd, 2025, which is several months after they claim he had S relations with her. It's possible that they were dating on and off throughout that time period, going through some heartbreak, and like I mentioned before, David had been promoting a new album in April of 2025 when prosecutors claimed Celeste had lost her life. Now Redditors had actually dug up his old SoundCloud files from that era when he was about to release this project, and they believe one of the interludes on the records actually includes a voicemail of Celeste having a conversation
I heard about
with
this.
David. They say David's deleted SoundCloud had versions of the tracks that were not fully released before his Withered album, and without any changes or tweaks in the song, you can clearly hear Celeste's voice. Despite this, he didn't say or tried not to disclose who the person was for obvious reasons, and not because of some stupid copyright excuse. The songs share similar file types, which suggests that David recorded those voicemails between early October 2024 and late November 2024 when he and Celeste were going through heartbreak. This was also during the time he was actively making and shaping songs for his album. David most likely used her in multiple situations that caused her to be hurt and mistreated, and because in the song Celeste was blaming herself for the wrongdoings, David was truly manipulating her emotions.
What the
I sound
fuck?
so stupid right now, but like I've been so selfish and I can't stop thinking about you and what I did and how it's affecting like everything. Like, I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I really am sorry. I tried. You're special, David. I got a question.
What's the question?
Why don't you hold my hands anymore?
Oh, here we go again, bro.
Nah, I'm so serious.
Bro,
I'm so serious. Like,
all right, continue.
I haven't held your hand in
like...
huge.
Sorry.
Like you're not funny. I swear you're not funny.
I'm done.
Alright, let me think.
About to set a timer.
Am I tripping? But that Is it just, I don't know, I could be wrong, but this doesn't sound like a young person. This sounds like an older person. Am I the only one who thinks that? I don't know. Maybe I need to
It could
listen
have been
more.
yesterday. So it
Oh,
could have
okay,
been
yesterday. Wow, yeah, I'm glad you remember that. I'm glad.
Period.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I hate when you say period, man. All right. I got a question for you now.
Okay.
Why do you think we met?
What I think personally,
Mhm.
have you ever heard of the invisible strength theory?
Oh yeah.
Exactly that. So basically, we met because we were supposed to meet.
Okay.
And we're connected because we're supposed to be connected.
Somewhat.
It's kind of like that, I loved you before I existed and I'll love you even when I die. Yes.
Okay.
But yeah, like, it's weird, it's strange, it's unpredictable.
Yeah.
So don't leave me.
No, you
Please.
got it.
Okay.
You got it.
All right. I love you. I love you. You're the one calling my phone.
You've been there, been there, you've been there.
Calling me.
Been there, you've been there, you've been there.
What the fuck am I listening to?
Been there, been there, been there.
Why are you calling?
Been
Why are
there,
you calling me?
been there,
Call me. Say you're sorry. This. And then you want to go and change the narrative and say something completely different. You gotta figure whatever you got going on. Figure that out.
Baby.
Now,
Now
as for
that sounded like a fucking child right there.
the consequences that
Baby.
You gotta figure whatever you got going on. Figure that out.
Baby.
Now, as for the consequences that David could face if he's proven guilty, like I said earlier, it gets really dark and really bad. This is the felony complaint right here, and it shows that he's being charged with a 187, which is a homicide against Celeste, and he's facing 3 counts of life without parole or the death sentence. Now, in terms of how prosecutors believe David actually murdered Celeste, we'll get into the breakdown of the autopsy, but like I mentioned before, they believe that David did so with a sharp object. He unalived her on April 23rd, they believe, and he mutilated her in early May. Now, 8 months ago, a video popped up of David on a Twitch stream where he's flaunting an extremely sharp object.
I don't even know if you're allowed to show knives on Twitch, but bro, look at this knife I got, bro. Chromium, chromacopia, chromacopia. Oh, you said don't show it? You can't? I can't? Are you for real?
So the medical examiners have officially published Celeste's autopsy in terms of the state of her body
We really be making the wrong people famous. I hate it.
in which it was found, pieces of her body missing, what parts of the body were actually cut up, and this is some of the most disturbing stuff I've personally ever seen. TMZ broke the full situation down. Take a look at what they had to say, and then we'll dive into it as much as we can without getting too dark.
We just received the autopsy report from the medical examiner in Celeste Rivas's death, for which David is now charged with her murder. And there are some interesting things, and we talked about this before, that we knew that the coroner had ruled this, the medical examiner ruled this a homicide, but we didn't know the cause of death. And the DA said they were stabbed, there was some kind of sharp
instrument was used.
Now we know, and what they're saying is there were 2 wounds in particular. And that they believe, and they use the word may, and the word may is going to be really important, which we'll talk about, that they may be penetrating wounds, which would not be wounds
To
and dismember a body.
Right. Because of where they are.
Yes, I could agree with that. I think anybody who has committed a crime against a minor should go death penalty.
I believe is I think
Agreed.
the main, and also
And the way they describe it is
itself.
they describe 2 penetrating wounds, one on the abdomen and one on the chest, and they describe them as, they tell you the depth and the length of these,
Dude,
and they
this
say they have
shit's
smooth
so
edges.
sad.
The indication seems to me that some sort of knife was plunged into her,
That's what they
and
were
it left
suggesting.
smooth
The key
edges.
is the length of the wounds. One is 3/4 of an inch, one is 9/16. So this size wound
as the penetrative wound. These are
Which
not
is an indication of the length of the blade.
and also a blade that could not dismember a body, right? This would not be the same instrument used to dismember the body.
Now, the body was dismembered. They describe all that in detail, but those types of cuts to take the body apart would be different.
The report say anything about the dismemberment or what they believe was used?
They don't say what
No,
was
it
used.
does describe it
They
in a
don't say
lot
what
of
was used,
detail,
but
the pieces.
it's gruesome.
Yeah.
So there's a word that's used, may, that it may have been caused by this. The defense is going to jump on that.
Oh, they'll
because
definitely.
they're not saying it's conclusive, and it aligns with what we've been hearing, which is they were having a really hard time determining how she died.
Well, look at the passage of time.
As recently as February.
The passage of time to determine this is a long, it's many, many months.
There's also, and it's conflicting, and we still can't quite figure it out, but there are references to finding presumptive positive indications that she had both meth and MDMA in her system.
I remember hearing that too.
Although additional screenings showed that to be not detected, but the initial screen said presumptively.
It seems like there were 2 tests taken, 2 tox screens. The initial one detected MDMA and methamphetamine. Subsequently, they did a
she must have
confirmation
been so
test,
scared.
and it was unclear whether there was MDMA, but methamphetamine, but no sign of MDMA at that second confirmation test.
I mean, ultimately, is that going to matter when you get to trial, like whether or not she was
probably
on
not.
any drugs?
Well, they may argue. They may argue it was an overdose. I don't know what they're going to argue, but they'll latch on to what they can.
That's true.
Dude, she was just a
I
baby.
covered the O.J. Simpson case. The coroner was on the stand for 8 days in that case. So this is going to be the centerpiece of the case because, you know, what the DA is saying is we have evidence.
I would agree with that, Tato. I think we don't protect kids enough. Absolutely not. We do not protect them enough. And it's very fucking sad how, like, crazy, like, how often, obviously, like, no violence should be, like, every violent crime should always be taken seriously. But, like, I just think we, like, the states, I would say even the fucking world as a whole, they do not fucking care about kids. Like, I am quite literally, like, I would, like, I'm not gonna lie. If I have kids, if I end up having kids, I would hope, well, I would always have this discussion with my partner or whoever that I would like to have my kids homeschooled. Like, if they cannot get these school shootings under control, or like the kidnappings, obviously it's always gonna fucking happen, but if they're not gonna do anything to protect my kid or all the kids, I don't want them going to a public school. Fuck that shit.
She threatened David that she would expose their relationship, probably in a text. That's the way they make it seem.
Exactly.
And that she goes to David's
Agreed,
house
Tato.
on April 23rd, 2025,
lying
never
in
to be
wait.
seen again.
Right.
So now the question, what happened? So
It's
the
absolutely
prosecutor's going to
disgusting.
say he stabbed her to death. And here are these 2 wounds.
And then you're going to have the defense coming out and saying, look, number one, you didn't say conclusively, you're saying may. And this is a reasonable doubt case. Number 2, if it was so clear to you, why 4 months in were you still saying undetermined? So this is going to be a huge part of this case.
And also, I would think, maybe they'll say this, that it would get harder to find those wounds the more time passes. Like, they found her body in September, and I'm sure it's refrigerated, but the state of decomposition, I would think it gets harder by March. Now, suddenly, what changed?
I think they're going to freeze it once they find the body. They can freeze it in the state.
But why I don't think that was what they found months later. Those penetrative wounds must have been known to the coroner right from this.
But why did they say we may never be able to determine whether it's...
The body was in a very bad state. The insects and so forth are described in there, liquefaction of organs and things of that nature. But the body that you can see in their diagram.
I feel like not a lot of people understand that, like, the body, especially in a car gets fucking hot. And I'm assuming this is in California, and they have hot weather. So the hotter it is, the faster the body decomposes. And I don't think a lot of people consider that. She was probably, so if she was dead in, or if she was offed in April, that, and then going all the way to what, no, was it September that they found her body? Yeah, like it's a recipe for a super freaking hot car. And in fucking all throughout summer. I don't know how it is getting close to fall over there, but like yeah, the body decomposes a lot more faster in heat, and I don't think a lot of people take that into consideration. And yeah, so
shows these 2 penetrating wounds, and those are inconsistent with dismemberment.
Well, there will be photographs.
There's going to be photographs of everything.
There will be photographs of all of this in the trial. But again, the defense is going to get every correspondence, every inter-office correspondence in the ME's office, and correspondence that goes to either LAPD or DA about what have you found with the cause of death, or the manner of death. And if these correspondents say, we can't figure it out, we can't figure it out, then the question is, how'd you figure it out? And why would it take you so long to see a penetrating wound?
And they want to see if there's a pressure being applied by other officials to come to a conclusion or things of that nature. That's going to be tough on prosecutors if they're applying pressure.
We know from right from the beginning, Nathan Hochman, the DA, was putting a lot of pressure to find an answer what happened to this girl. That might go to the pressure.
But we don't know. When we're not saying anything about what the truth here is, it's just this is going to be the core of this trial that we just got. And it's a very thick document and very detailed. And clearly, the way it's written, I mean, you can tell this coroner knows that this will be subjected to great scrutiny. I keep going back to that word may, because that's a critical,
the lack of a definitive
critical word.
So with that, let's take a look at the medical examiner's report
I don't know, man.
Celeste's cause of death as far as they know. The examiner says again that she was killed by multiple penetrating injuries with an unspecified object, and her death again was ruled as a homicide. This is the autopsy document with all of Celeste's wounds and essentially the state that her body was found. The examiner says that there's 2 penetrating wounds on the torso with smooth edges that may resemble sharp force injuries. The wound, which was 3/4 of an inch length and 1.5 inches deep, was on the upper abdomen and penetrated the liver, and another wound on the left side of her chest, which was 9/16 of an inch length and 2 inches deep, as well as her left ring and pinky fingers being amputated. However, the body diagrams shows that her right pointer finger that had the shush tattoo on it, the same exact tattoo that David also got, that was fully intact, meaning that whoever did this had cut off parts of her finger. It's important to note that the finger that the examiner claims was cut off was the same finger that Celeste had allegedly had a tattoo that said David. Now, what's really scary is that months ago, Patrick CC did a video on the situation, and he thought it was strange that authorities had reported that Celeste had the shush tattoo on her finger, but they didn't report on the David tattoo that she had on her finger, and that led him to believe that potentially, since her body was found dismembered, cut up, that potentially that finger with the David tattoo on it had been cut when he was trying to dispose of her body. And looking at this autopsy, with that finger being removed, it seems like this very well may have been the case.
Oh, she had a matching tattoo with David that said shh. Why would they reveal that and not the one that says David on her finger? That would not be the easiest connection ever. Like, oh, okay, this car belongs to David, body in the car. Oh yeah, her finger says David. Like, that seems like really, really crucial evidence. That's just where something doesn't really match up for me. While reviewing this edit, I had another thought about this whole ring finger situation. The police did reveal that the body was dismembered or cut up. We don't know to what extent, how bad it was, or what was missing. But it makes me think if potentially the left ring finger or maybe the left hand was missing as a potential way to cover up the evidence, this would be some insane level, like serial killer, premeditated murder type stuff.
Now, with the medical examinators releasing the official cause of death, 2 penetrating wounds, Celeste's family has finally spoken up and given a statement on the absolutely devastating news. They shared a new photo of her where you can see she
Aw,
looks
dude,
so
she's
young.
just a
Remember,
baby.
she had initially connected with David when she was potentially just as young, allegedly, as 13 years old. And they said Celeste was a beautiful, strong girl who loved to sing and dance. Every Friday night was movie night, and we spent wonderful times together. We love her very much, and she always told us that she loved us. We miss her deeply. All we want is justice for Celeste. Now, I can't imagine the heartbreak that Celeste's family is now faced with, but certain people have questions. Where were they in all these months, all these years that she was back and forth, allegedly in this troubled relationship with a man nearly 7 years older than her? In my previous video, I showed you guys how her brother had done interviews where he said he knew of their relationship. She was just 13 years old. Why couldn't they do anything to stop it? Where were they when all this was going down?
That's my
What are you
question. not gonna lie.
saying, Dave Mack? What are you saying till we find out what the next step is going to be? The next step is an indictment. That's the next step. The long dead body of this little girl found in D4vd David Anthony Burke's Tesla, found one day after she would have turned 15. She was just 13 years old in the 7th grade when her family reported her missing. She was with D4vd, and after that, they never said another word. Nothing. Where have they been all this time? Why are we the only ones banging the drum, demanding justice? Brian Fitzgibbons, this is very odd behavior on the parents' part. Never issuing a public plea, never thanking the LAPD for finding their girl, never demanding justice. I'd be laying on the front steps of the courthouse screaming for justice. Nothing. Radio silent. And now an indictment is set to go down, and they're what? What? Where are they?
Yeah, it's incomprehensible, the fact that there hasn't been a large outcry from her family. You know, that being said, there isn't a playbook for these scenarios, but it is a bizarre situation that the media has been standing up for her a lot more than the family.
While I don't think it's fair, especially in this time of grief, to point fingers at the very family that's suffering such an immeasurable loss, it is insane to see when we look back on all the evidence that the internet dug up. Years of connections between David and Celeste that seemingly went unnoticed until it was too late. Celeste was allegedly seen on live streams with David, with the chat even making comments on the live stream that David belongs on the Epstein list due to his connection with this minor. Everyone laughing, everyone making jokes, everyone witnessing this disgusting relationship take place right before their eyes, and no one was able to stop it.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel for the family, but like, I also can agree, like, dude, I don't know. I'd be fucking dragging my kids by the fucking hair to go home. Like, I'm sorry. I don't know. I think it's a bit weird. I don't know what you guys think, but I just think it's a bit weird that they, like, I don't know. Like, I'd be damned if I let my child sit with a fucking 20-year-old and she's only 13. What the No.
Where's your
Not
media
happening.
training?
I'm sorry.
Yo, I media trained you.
No, you didn't.
That's controversial.
It's controversial of raping kids.
Really good.
Okay,
It's been a good one. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Mwah, 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 mwah. Oh my! Delete everything. Delete everything. Everything goes. Everything goes. Everything.
Took it off because they didn't go with the silver.
Season it. It's already seasoned, but it's Alfredo.
Seasoning.
Chat. Pray for his career, chat. Are we done? Are we?
We need to delete this.
Are we? Maz, can we delete all VODs? And then as soon as the stream ends, delete the stream too? Can we delete everything? You done for, bro? Y'all are not done? Now you gonna Epstein? Yo, wait.
Oh, look it. Answer that one. That's so mean if you don't answer
Which
that.
one? What's good, David? Big fan, big me. Yo, thank you, Mitochondria. Appreciate you.
I gotta stop with him if you even.
Like I said, you guys can check out my full breakdown where we detail many disturbing connections.
If I have a daughter, she isn't allowed to date until she's 30, grounded for until college. You know, someone in that chat said they kind cute for real. Check that motherfucker's hard drive.
Between David and Celeste. It seems like they had been together years before this incident took place, meeting on Discord, Celeste running away from home to stay at David's house, David writing songs about her. All this is alleged, of course, but these connections run deep, and it doesn't make sense to me why no one was able to stop it. Look at all these different connections that were all public all throughout these years of David allegedly romantically involved with this child.
He knew exactly what he was doing. Let's start off with this lyric from one of his songs. He said, "I don't care about the law when I'm with you because I be breaking it all the time." Here's a picture that he put on his close friends. It is said that he would only post his relationship with Celeste on his close friends because obviously nobody could see it. And this is them together. This is a tattoo that the 15-year-old girl had on her finger. This was also posted to Instagram and it says David. This is another Instagram story that he posted, but so cleverly he covers up her face because she is of course 15 years old. This is proof that for 2 years in a row, he uploaded love songs on Celeste's birthday. Her birthday is September 7, 2010. This is a missing poster that was actually being put on Facebook and social media by her family. Now this one's a little bit confusing because it says she was last seen February 14th of 2024.
Girl.
And then there's another poster that says April 2024, so I'm not sure if she had a history of running away. This is another photo from December 2023 of David and Celeste together. This is a screenshot from his Discord where someone's saying he has a girlfriend. They're pretty sure he's dating and her name is Celeste. This is of course the matching tattoo that he had with her on his finger because obviously he couldn't put her name on his finger because she's 15. Proof that romantic homicide was uploaded on her birthday. This is another picture of them together, and on this one, I think they were on FaceTime with someone. The person who put this photo said, "Celeste and David, don't let me sleep." Another photo of the girl with David while they were like video chatting. Okay, so pay attention to this one. This is a photo of Celeste and David that was uploaded by a user named Lamp. Lamp said, "Hey, who's the girl?" David said, "You are a fed." David later says, "I know that he leaked already. We're literally preparing to sue him. He's about to owe me $30,000. This is a music video that he uploaded 7 months ago, which was 10 months after Celeste went missing, where he's basically putting a body into a trunk and then burying it. And this isn't a separate video, but there's basically an unaliver standing in front of him at the edge of a bed. This is another Discord screenshot that Celeste herself apparently posted. She was replying to another girl and she posted this photo of David wearing a shirt that says "I love my girlfriend," and I'm assuming that that heart in the middle had a picture of them together as a couple. This is a tweet from May in 2022, and it is said that they were talking in 2022. He said, "When I was writing this, I got a notification from you as you were talking about wanting to be with your mom and your sister again. You said, 'Take me where I belong,' but our circumstances won't allow us to be in our ideal situations. We got to push through it." Was he insinuating that she wanted to go home and he wasn't letting her?
Yeah. It's so sad, dude.
Hey guys, so David did appear in the courtroom today, a year to the date from when prosecutors say that Celeste was killed by him. I'm gonna break down what went down in the courtroom today. Before I get into that, there were a lot of people in the comments asking why David appeared at his arraignment in regular clothes and not an orange jumpsuit. This is common for people who are in the early stages of court proceedings, such as how David is. The court allows them to wear street clothes, which is just everyday clothes, so that there's not a presumption of guilt in the courtroom when he's first seen. It's argued that if he were to enter the courtroom for the first time already dressed like a criminal, that makes people in the courtroom assume he is a criminal, and that goes against the whole motto of innocent until proven guilty. Today, however, since David has been formally charged, he did appear in the courtroom shackled and in an orange jumpsuit. And during today's court proceeding, prosecutors said that they went through David's phone and found a significant amount of child material. This was footage that David was creating, and based on the fact that we know that he has other minor victims in addition to Celeste, I'm assuming that the videos and the photos were not just of her. This is part of the reason why he's being charged with lewd and lascivious sexual acts with a person under the age of 14. David's high-profile defense attorney Blair Burke told the judge that prosecutors had not turned over all of the evidence that they have, so they are not privy to what prosecutors have against their client exactly. So she's been saying that the allegations against David are just allegations and assumptions and that he did not do this, and the evidence is going to showcase that, but she doesn't even know the evidence that they have against him, so what she's saying doesn't even hold any merit in my opinion.
That is.
During today's court proceeding, Blair Burke said that David and his defense team want an immediate preliminary hearing. The prosecutors
Oh, that's why pop filters are nice. Put a pop filter on that big head. I'm glad I did. Yo, how's there so much of this shit and people still watched and supported this guy? Has clearly fucking an underage girl and no one decided to do anything about it. Crazy. Agreed. She looks very young. Very, very, very young. Like, look at those bottom pictures. Like clearly a fucking baby. A child.
They said that they will be ready for a preliminary hearing next week, and the defense and the prosecution have agreed that they want to go to trial within 60 days. So in some cases, like the Idaho 4 case, the defendant, Brian Koberger, wanted to keep extending things, delaying things. It took years to go to trial. David wants to go to trial right away, so we can see a trial as early as this summer. Now, we know that Celeste died, according to the medical examiner, due to stab wounds from a sharp object. A lot of people are pointing out the fact that David liked to flaunt this specific knife right here in photos and live streams that he was doing. Where is this weapon? A lot of people are wondering if this is possibly what he used to make those injuries on her. So let me know what you guys are thinking about all of this, and make sure you're following for the latest updates on this case.
All in all, this is by far the most disturbing case I have personally ever witnessed, and I pray that Celeste and her family can get the justice they deserve. It took 7 long months to get here, and possibly a full year from the moment Celeste lost her life, and at this point, someone needs to suffer those consequences. And right now, all odds are stacked against David.
I don't know. Throw her parents in jail too for not doing anything about this. Literally. Okay. I'm sorry. Like, I understand they're grieving, but like, I just can't fathom that. But I also understand it's very hard to keep, as my niece was also a runaway child. So I could very much understand the difficulties of keeping your child in your house to keep them from like running away. And I understand that part of it, just because like my niece was the same way. She kept running away and my sister was like at a loss. Like, it's just very, very hard. And the police over there, she also lives in CA, and the police is just god awful, and they barely helped her out at that time. And it's just, I can understand stuff like that, but I don't know. Like, because they said she was coming and going as she pleased from what it seemed like. And at that moment, I'd probably fucking throw her ass, like, I don't know, somewhere where she doesn't have contact with this guy and report it to the police. Like, it literally said, hold on. Pause the banger music. Sorry. It literally said, he said that her brother knew? Her brother knew about this guy. And he didn't say shit. Like, dude, I'm telling you, like, I don't want to think that the family was like this, but like, it's hard not to think about it with their actions alone. And I'm like, I understand they're grieving. But it's like, the fact that the brother didn't mention anything or like tell the police or anything like that makes me think in my head that they were initially okay with it because of his status. And that's what I think in my head, allegedly, guys, let's allegedly, I think that's what is the case. Like, I can't fathom it. Like, I don't understand. I just absolutely do not understand, and it makes me sad that this poor baby was probably very fucking scared and drugged up in her last moments of life, and it's just heartbreaking that she didn't have literally anyone on her side, apparently, because from all the people who supported him and all the people in his Discord server, I think all of those people should be looked at. All of them. Look at all of their computers, look at all of their shit. Like, the fucking, like, this case is so crazy because, like, he had 2 Celestes in his circle. I don't know if you guys knew about that, but he has 2 Celestes in his circle. Baby Celeste, and then a different Celeste who looks kind of like her, but older. And for, like, everybody's thinking that he used the older Celeste as a doppelganger for her. And I think her name was Celeste Herrera and Celeste Rivas or some shit like that. It's crazy. This shit is insane. Throw his ass in jail. I don't care. Throw that girl in jail. Throw anybody who knew? Jail. Go. Locked up. I can't believe, I don't know. I can't do this shit. Yeah, but even if they run away, if I had a daughter who was underage who was running away to some man's house who's there, clearly something going on with him, I'm calling the police and saying something about it. Exactly. I agree. I fully agree. But there's also other factors as well that we do have to consider. But I wholeheartedly agree with what you're saying. I just don't think, I don't know. I do think I think all of them should be fucking thrown in jail. I think everybody in the Discord he had, I think all of them should be looked at. I think anybody who was in his circle of friends should be looked at. So, like, the doppelganger Celeste, I think she should be looked at. I think all of them should be looked at. Whoever was in that group definitely should be looked at. I don't care. I do not care. Lock them all up. They deserve to be in jail. I hate them all. Anyways. Sorry, guys. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. TLDR, all of these people suck. All of them. Dude, I can't. Stuff like that makes me sad and angry. But yeah. Anyways, I think this was a different style for Rapaholics. Usually he's very yappy in these, but I think he used a lot of the, like, the videos that have been coming out. So if you guys like his content and stuff, definitely follow him. And everything is good. I like listening to him at work. He's great. All right, guys. No más of that.